Hello, readers. It's Mrs. Davis, and you are here with me again in the Happy Place to Grow, where I'm excited to share with you some great stories by author and illustrator Jan Brett. Now, in my first video, I introduced you to this wonderful lady who loves to draw and paint and write. She also takes old stories and reworks them, adds a little bit of new details and interesting twists to sort of make it her own. So I'm excited to share some really great books with you. Now, our first book is going to be a cute one. It's got a lively, colorful character. I always like to read these type of stories at Christmas time, but I tell you, gingerbread can be available all year long, and there's no right season for it, really. Today's story is called not the Gingerbread Man, but Jan takes the Gingerbread Man story to a little bit different level, which I love. Her story is called The Gingerbread Baby. And the thing that Jan says about this story is that when she was little, she heard the story, The Gingerbread Man, and she kind of felt sorry for the gingerbread man. She didn't want him to end up being eaten, because she thought, even though this is a cookie in the story, he seemed real to her and that he was alive. And so she was kind of sad that he ended up as a lunch or a snack for a fox. So in her story, she wanted a little bit different of an ending for her gingerbread character. And also, when she was working on her book, she spent a lot of time illustrating and drawing her character out. Before she even drew out the gingerbread baby and put those beautiful, colorful details you'll see in the story in the pages, she said that she worked some dough out in her kitchen. She made a bunch of cookies and shaped them and pinched their little legs to act like they were running. And she decorated them in different ways. And she put them in her home office because she works at home. And she was working on her illustrations, which she did say that when she's drawing her illustrations, it takes her sometimes 8 hours. Wow, that's a lot of details. And when she was working on her gingerbread baby character, she was looking at those cookies, smelling the gingerbread, getting some details. She said that she even went to the grocery store and bought a bunch of different little peppermint candies, different kinds, so that she could see the different details when she was going to draw out her character to figure out which one she wanted to. I love that she not only cared about writing great details with her story, but she also wanted us to see how the gingerbread baby could look just so special and so alive. So I love that. Now, when Jan is coloring her gingerbread baby, you're going to see these beautiful illustrations. Just remember that she used not crayons or markers, but watercolor paints. That's a technique that she loves to use. Now, here's the book. Now, the cover of the book that I have does not have the gingerbread baby on it. It's got like a quilted pattern, and it looks like those are different cookies or maybe different characters. So when you first look at the cover, you would know it's the gingerbread baby. We have to open it up. So let's get started. Get cozy. If you want to get a little blanket, find a really cozy spot. But you are going to love the story of the gingerbread baby. And just remember, it's got a different ending. So let's get started. And remember with Jan and her stories that you have to really look at the illustrations and you have to look around. I call them little window picture clues, because over to the side, she'll have these clues of what's coming up next and what's happening. So you have to look around for all the clues. So here's the beginning. It looks like a little cottage, a little house. This story takes place a long time ago. You can tell by the clothing. And it takes place in a cold setting. And it's definitely in a village. So there's a little cottage. You can see some mountains in the background. You can see a little boy and a dog and a cat. And there's the title, Gingerbread Baby by Jan Brett. You are going to love it. Now I'm going to show you this page. It's the title page, and it's information about the story, but there's a little window. So you see the little boy, and it looks like he is looking out the window. And then over here, you've got a recipe. You can see his mother is in a stove. You've got some clues right here. So definitely looks like it's taking place a long time ago because their clothes are a giveaway right on that one. It says, it was cold outside. It was warm inside. That's definitely, you can get the feel of the story. A fine day for gingerbread. Maddie thought. Maddie is the boy, the main character. Maddie's mother put the big blue bowl on the table and lit the stove. Maddie took down a worn-looking cookbook because, you know, if you're using a cookbook, it's a recipe, right? So he got the worn-looking cookbook with the old-fashioned writing on the cover. He opened it up to the page that said Gingerbread Boy. And definitely it's fun to make cookies and especially fun to make gingerbread. It's so spicy and delicious. Now, as I show you the next illustration picture, before I read, I want you to take a look at the sides because there's some window clues. There's a lot going on. You've got ingredients. You've got a little boy popping out. And then you've got the adventure is on. Let's find out what happens next. They measured and mixed. Maddie rolled the dough into the shape of a gingerbread boy. And they popped him in the oven. Bake a full 8 minutes. No more. That's what the recipe said. No less. Do not peek, the recipe read. So there was definitely some directions, and I can see do not is capitalized. So, do you think Maddie followed the directions? Let's find out. Maddie listened to the clock. Tick, tock, tick, tock. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4, 5. Maddie couldn't wait any longer. Uh-oh, he peeked. Yikes. He opened the oven door to take a peek. Instead of a gingerbread boy, out jumped a gingerbread baby. Maybe that's because he didn't wait the full 8 minutes. So maybe the gingerbread boy wasn't quite grown up yet. I never thought about that as I've read the story before. I love this gingerbread baby. He's such a personality. He pranced around in the great big blue bowl. I'm the gingerbread baby, fresh from the pan. If you want me, catch me if you can. I love his personality. Look at him. So cute in that blue bowl. And you can see over to the side the little window. What do you think is going to happen next? In the traditional story, the gingerbread boy or man runs away. Do you think the baby's going to run away? Will he hang around? Sounds like he's kind of sassy. Now let's look at the illustrations before we move on. We've got our window clue. That's where he was cut out. There's a cow right there. Everybody is on the chase. The bowl is broken. And somebody's coming in. The door's open. Uh-oh. It looks like from this little picture clue, out goes the baby. Cat's watching. You think the cat's going to catch him? Let's see what happens. Maddie's mother reached for the gingerbread baby to put him back in the oven because he wasn't ready yet. He was just a baby. Needed to be a man. But he ran around the kitchen. The door opened and in came Maddie's father. "What's that delicious smell?" he asked as the gingerbread baby tumbled through his legs and outside into the yard. Oh boy, if only father had not come home. But as luck would have it for the gingerbread baby, out he scampered. And I see a clue up here, and I see a clue down here. And the chase is on. Let's see what happens next. He ran by the tabby cat. She twitched her tail and sprang at him. They rumbled, they tumbled, but the gingerbread baby came out on top as he's sharp. And look at as he came out on top. Ha ha ha. He is riding like a bucking bronco. Oh boy. And it looks like who's next? Yeah, dog. We got that clue. He ran toward the garden wall. The dog caught a whiff of the tasty ginger and sniffed along behind him. But the gingerbread baby was halfway up when the dog caught up to him for sure. Look at him. Woo, he is kind of flexible, don't you think? He's very athletic for a baby. He's got skills. The gingerbread baby was halfway up when the dog caught up. He barked and he barked as the gingerbread baby climbed over the wall. Wow, he's pretty strong. Now let's take a look. Any clues over here? I don't see any clues over to the side, but he's up and over the wall. Meanwhile, back at the house, and you can see mother and you can see father. And you can see Tabby and the dog. But Maddie is not with them. What do you think Maddie's doing? He's still back at home. He doesn't look like he is concerned one bit. But look what he's doing. He's got that cookbook. And he's calm. He's smiling. I think he's definitely got a plan going on. What do you think it might be? So Maddie is here. Here's what's coming up next for the gingerbread baby. But look, he's doing tumbles and flips. Maybe he has a little bit of gymnastic talent. Meanwhile, let me tell you what Maddie says. Maddie was still inside. He heard his mother and father yelling. He heard the cat meowing and the dog woof, woof, barking. And he heard the gingerbread baby shouting, "Catch me if you can." Maddie opened up the worn-looking cookbook for the second time. It's interesting. Meanwhile, the gingerbread baby wheeled on down the path and into the barn. The goats looked up as he somersaulted across their backs. He's definitely full of gymnastic talent. The last one tried to catch him, but the gingerbread baby was too fast. They were possibly mad at the gingerbread baby. Let's see what happens next. There's some window clues. Let's take a look and see. First of all, I can see Maddie is working. He's got a new bowl. He's working on a new recipe. He's rolling out some more dough. Interesting. And he's definitely calm. He's smiling. He's got a plan. And we can see as the gingerbread baby travels on, he meets up with some girls in the village by a well. Goats are behind him. Dog and cat and mom and dad are definitely chasing, and the chase is on. Ba-dum, 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 bum, bum. Let's get that gingerbread baby. Let's see what happens when he meets up with these two cute girls in braids. Martha and Madeline were standing by the well when the gingerbread baby stopped to take a drink. Well, he has been doing a lot of exercising. They looked at each other and winked. Martha started to talk to him while Madeline, I like this tag team thing, she tiptoed up behind him with the bucket. That sounds like a plan. But they couldn't fool the gingerbread baby. Not only is he real flexible, but he's also very clever for a baby, of course. But I love their plan. It was a good one. Tag teaming. He's too smart. And he's too flexible and he's too fast. Woo! Can anybody catch this gingerbread baby? Well, look at that. He's kind of a stinker too. Anyway, but he's got to kind of save his own life because everybody's trying to get him and eat him. I guess I might be that way too. He ties their braids together. Oh boy. He took a braid from Martha and a braid from Madeline and tied them in a knot and ran down the road. I guess he showed them who was boss. Meanwhile, back in the house, Maddie's on a mission. Maddie stirred, he mixed, he rolled the dough. He shaped it, put it in a pan and into the oven. Oh, look at that. What kind of shape is that? Doesn't look like a gingerbread. He's not making another gingerbread baby or person. That's not the shape. That you might know. Back at the house, Maddie stirred, he mixed, he rolled the dough. He shaped it and put it in the pan into the oven. Tick, tock, tick. 8 long minutes. He waited this time, smart guy. This time he didn't peek. I will catch him if I can, Maddie said to him. Oh, he's got a plan to catch. Think he's making a trap for the gingerbread baby? Let's find out. I am excited. This is definitely a little bit different from the original gingerbread tale that I'm used to. Oh my goodness. Look what's going on in the village. Goodness gracious. There's some farm animals. Looks like maybe a farmer. He's got a horse and a wagon. And look who's leaping up above all of the situation. The gingerbread baby. As he was bouncing along, the gingerbread baby saw a farm wagon. Just ahead, he jumped in and settled down for a ride. I guess he might be getting a little tired of running. He settled down next to a mama pig. That might not be a good idea. The smell of gingerbread was too much for her. She tossed him high in the air, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. Oh, I guess that's why he's in the air. She tossed him up. Whee! I can just hear him say, whee! But the gingerbread baby twisted in the air and came down hard on her porky snout, which would be her nose. He did not land in her mouth because, well, he's the gingerbread baby. Now, I see a few clues at the top. It's interesting. Huh. I am the gingerbread baby, too quick for the mother and the fox, too fast for the cat, the dog, and the goats, too clever, and he was, for Martha and Madeline, too smart for Mama Pig. Who's left? Catch me if you can. You think a porcupine's gonna be next? He is just toddling down that road. You can see he's left them in the snow dust. He's off. Maybe he's going to this village. Who might he meet in the village? Interesting. Oh, meanwhile, back at home, you can see in the little picture clue, which, by the way, did you notice was shaped like a little gingerbread cookie? How sweet is that? There's Maddie. He's working on something. It looks like, if you look very close, he is building a gingerbread house. He's definitely building one there. That's why you have to look at those clues. Now, there's a lot going on. Definitely they're in the village. They're on a bridge. There's lots of characters, mother, father, kids, the horse, and they're over an icy, a cookie falling in liquid is, you know, I always dip my cookies in milk. Do you? Wonder what's going to happen when you, this could be crumbly. But remember, Jan wants good things to happen to her gingerbread character, so let's see how he gets out of this situation. Turn this back. Oh boy. Interesting. Oh, I forgot to read that page. I was so excited about the illustrations. I forgot to read the page. The words are so important. Feeling smug, that means, you know, he's really proud of himself and he feels like he's getting away with it. The gingerbread baby strolled along by himself until he came to a bridge that crossed over to the village. Just as he got to the middle, he heard running feet behind him. He saw a crowd of villagers ahead of him. The gingerbread baby was trapped. Oh my, this is not a good situation. He jumped up onto the railing and flipped through the air and landed on a chunk. Oh, he didn't land in the river. He landed on a chunk of floating ice down the river, floating down the river. Well, lucky for him. There's a lot happening on both of these pages. Villagers are following him. He's floating on a tiny iceberg. And look what character's popping in now. Of course, the fox is in the original Gingerbread Man. And the fox is so clever that he tricks the gingerbread man. However, the gingerbread baby is pretty smart. So let's see what happens when the fox joins the party. The ice bobbed along with the gingerbread baby dancing on top, of course, and singing in a loud voice. Look at me, and what do you see? The best gingerbread baby ever. Until his feet got cold and he jumped ashore. So he was just floating along, having a good time, thinking proud of himself. But in the distance, the fox is waiting. And now the gingerbread baby has jumped on to the shore and the chase is on. And that fox has got his tongue hanging out. He is ready to have a cookie snack. Who was that watching from the trees? It was the fox. He crept up behind the gingerbread baby, ready to eat him up. But the fox couldn't help himself. He licked his chops. Smack, smack. The gingerbread baby heard him and ran as fast as he could. Good thing he made a sound, a noise. Now the gingerbread baby is really on the run. He's got to get away because this fox is fast And this fox is hungry for a snack. Let's see if we can turn this page. I'm having trouble with these thick. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Look at all those clues. First of all, we've got Maddie, and it looks like he's decorating. Have you ever decorated a gingerbread house? It's really fun. It's a little bit of a piece of work because you've got to get the sides and the roof and everything to stick together. So frosting really helps the pieces stick together. Ah, look, it's a dog. Oh, that's cute. A dog is pulling a cart, and there's a can in there. Just when the fox was catching up, the gingerbread baby saw the milk and cheese man with his can of milk. So a long time ago, before they had lots of grocery stores and places you could buy milk and items, farmers would make their products like milk and cheese, and then somebody would deliver them to you. Even when I was growing up, we had a little slot in my house, and it was the milk chute, and the milkman would come and put it into the little chute. Cool. So you can see this was definitely written a long time ago. The perfect hiding place, he thought. Do you think a can of milk is a perfect hiding place for a gingerbread baby? Yeah, he's hidden, but, well, I don't know, milk and cookies? What happens? Hello? He lifted the lid and lowered himself inside. He was so pleased that he sang at the top of his gingerbread voice. Ha ha, hee hee, you'll never find me, I'm the gingerbread baby. Catch me if you can. Whoa. Maddie's working. Maddie's decorating, because that's the fun of gingerbread houses too. Put all those peppermint and little mints on there, and little hot peppers, and little hot pepper candies, and cinnamon candies, and different kind of gumdrops. Remember, he had a plan to catch the gingerbread baby. He was hoping he would catch him. I think he's thinking about making him a beautiful house to move into. What do you think? Possibly. The milk and cheese man heard the gingerbread baby's voice. Who is meddling with my milk? He shouted, and he lifted the lid. And you could see the gingerbread baby's tweaking his nose. Oh boy. The gingerbread baby was ready. He jumped up and tweaked his nose. Well, he's got to get away. Whatever it takes, right? You know? Oh my goodness. Look at all those villagers and animals. They're all chasing one little baby cookie. Is there not any cookies in town that somebody can eat? Hello? Whoa, and they're really close to him. I don't know what's going to happen. Now the milk and cheese man, the fox, the villagers, the mama pig, Martha and Madeline, the bleeding goats, the barking dog, the meowing cat, meow. The father and the mother were all after the gingerbread baby, and they were getting closer. Oh boy, this could be a situation, and he knew it. Well, he was smart. The brash baby was not as peppy and proud as he had been. You know, he was getting maybe a little discouraged. He had been having fun and getting away. He'd been a little sassy and gymnastical, but now he's probably getting tired. And there's so many characters chasing him. Oh, I might be getting discouraged too. He sniffed a familiar smell all of a sudden and followed his nose into the woods. Oh, remember Maddie had a plan. He had just made that house. Oh, you think he's smelling the gingerbread house? Could be. You know, gingerbread is so strong and so spicy. It's definitely a cookie that will bite you back because it's snippy with spices, and it has that gingerbread delicious smell too. There's the gingerbread cookie window. Peekaboo. There's Another little peekaboo clue. Maddie is waiting behind a tree, and look, there's that cute little house. It's definitely a trap, but a good trap to catch his beloved baby. And look how happy, 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 happy. Remember, Jan wanted a happy ending. He couldn't believe what he saw. There in the middle of a clearing was a gingerbread house, frosted with sugar, covered with candy, and the doors with peppermint handles wide open. How cute is that? Oh, definitely cute. I would want to run in there too, wouldn't you? The gingerbread baby clapped his hands with glee and ran inside. He is so happy. I think that's definitely a good way to catch the gingerbread baby. Don't try to eat him. Don't chase him and try to scare him. Don't try to trick him. Give him a treat. It's kind of like Halloween, trick or treat. The treat always works, in my opinion. Maddie's waiting, definitely waiting, but I wonder what happens when he gets in, because he's still going to be in the middle of the woods. Oh boy, there's the clues. You've got the fox right there. You've got Maddie running off with the gingerbread house, and you know who's inside. Baby. All of the characters are looking, and they're kind of like scratching their heads like, what? But they see a clue of crumbs on the snowy ground. So imagine what they're thinking. They didn't see Maddie because he snuck off. I think the fox probably did see Maddie. He saw it, maybe, because he was maybe in the woods. They're wondering, they're thinking, let's see. In a tick-tock tick, everyone arrived in the clearing. But all they found were a few bits of frosting, peppermint candy, and some crumbs. So maybe they're thinking the gingerbread cookie has been eaten, because those were parts of him, could have been. The father exclaimed, "The gingerbread baby has finally met his match," meaning somebody got him or something got him and ate him, which is the way all gingerbread cookies are supposed to go, apparently. "I wonder who it was," the mother said. "Let's go home and tell Maddie." Oh, they're going to tell Maddie the sad news. They think, ha! Wonder what Maddie will say when they get home. So, they arrive home. They're talking to Maddie. You can see where the leftover dough from that beautiful gingerbread house sitting over here. That sweet old cookbook recipe. It's closed because we're done baking for a while. And look at Maddie. He's got this beautiful gingerbread house. He's showing Mom and Dad the house, but I don't know if he's going to show them the baby or not. Let's find out. "Hello, Maddie," his father said when they got home. "We never did catch that gingerbread baby. All we found were some crumbs in the snow." "I see you have been busy," said his mother, looking at the gingerbread house Maddie was holding. "Too bad we never caught the gingerbread baby." So they don't know. Is Maddie going to tell them? "Too bad," said Maddie. He's not telling. I guess he thinks they'll try to eat the baby. He's got a secret, but it's a good one. It's a happy one. Only Maddie could hear the tiny voice inside the gingerbread house. Oh. Look at that. Cute, cute Maddie. He's the only one that knows. But you and I also know. Let's pop open that. There's the gingerbread baby. Happily ever after, at least for a while. Look at this beautiful detail of a house. There's lots of gumdrops on the roof, peppermint sticks, hot cinnamon candies. I don't know. Maybe those are some cookies on the side, some different kinds of cookies. Only Maddie could hear the voice. And can you hear the voice? Here's what the gingerbread baby's saying. He says, I'm the little gingerbread baby, lucky as can be, to be living in the house that Maddie made for me. I can hear him saying it. You can too. He's winking and he's so happy. Look at those cute details on his little body and his cute little happily ever after face. Oh, that was so cute. I love how Jan, and there's the back cover, or the end of it. I love how Jan gave her gingerbread baby personality and spunk, liveliness, and a free spirit. And I love how this story had a really happy ending with the gingerbread baby finding a home, sweet home. I love how Maddie solved his problem of the gingerbread baby escaping. And I love how the gingerbread baby solved his problem by deciding that there's no place like home. Well, I sure did enjoy reading this story, The Gingerbread Baby, with you, to you, and I'm glad you're here with me. I want you to join me on our next reading adventure because the gingerbread baby is also involved. We are going to be joining him once again, but this time there's going to be some friends involved. And of course, you know, he's still spunky. He's still full of gymnastics and acrobats. He's definitely going to go on an adventure. So join me for our next story, Gingerbread Friends. Let's see what happens in part 2 of The Gingerbread Baby. All right, until our next story time together, as always, keep enjoying fun stories. Maybe you too might want to pull out the recipe book with mom or grandma or dad and bake some delicious gingerbread. Yum, yum. All right. Have a good one, and I'll see you real soon.